You're on.
Welcome to I don't even know what episode we're on anymore, Dave. We're on like the 10th, 11th. It could be any episode, but we are going strong on this Boomers and Hustlers thing. Welcome to the next episode of Boomers and Hustlers, guys.
Well, welcome to 2021.
Welcome to 2021 as well. How's this year going for you so far?
Oh, well, again, I would, the phrase that I've been talking so far is never better. Each day, looking for ways to really have a great time, learn, apply, and have some really great collaborations in 2021.
Yeah, I hope 2021 is definitely better than 2020 in terms of us being able to go out, uh, especially for me because I'm really trying to go out now. I'm tired of being stuck at home, right? It's getting long now. Like that the whole situation of lockdown just recurring over and over again, with cases still being like rising. I don't get it. We're in lockdown and the cases are still at 3, 4 thousand. Like that makes no sense. But on that other topic, I mean, I want to get social, Dave. Like I've really been having an urge to go out, meet new people, make new friends and stuff. But what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in 2021 that you hope happen or don't happen? What
Well,
are
one
you
of the
looking
things I'm
forward to?
actually looking forward to be very honest with you, I was talking about it today, is I'm looking forward to go to Japan. And I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to go and have some wonderful food. Japan, I love their sushi, sashimi, uh, teppanyaki, yakitori. It's such a great foodie place. And I've been talking about it the last 3 days that they're supposed to have the Olympics this summer. So, if possible, if things
Yeah.
open up, I'll be investing some time in Japan and enjoying some of the wonderful people and food and experiences that Japan has to offer.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we were also talking about earlier was how they're building like sex robots in Japan and building machines like AI sort of machines that you could have these relations with. What do you think about that? I mean, it's a really cool topic. I've really been looking into AI, and upon doing my research, I came across some of these ideas of being able to marry a robot in the coming future by like 2050 or something. It's a crazy idea. Have you ever heard about it?
Yes, it's actually a problem that they have in Japan is that there's a portion of the population, particularly the male population, who don't have the social skills, the interest to go and actually meet people. And so there's an industry that's happening right now. One of the businesses is that women will rent themselves out to be the bigger sister for a young man. Or again, there's a whole industry to try to allow guys who are addicted to computers and video games and pornography to actually get out of their room and go have an interaction with a human being. And so they've
Wait,
noticed that there's an industry there. So the robots are also part of that industry to assist people, particularly Japanese men, to be able to have some type of relations besides with their video computers.
damn, Japan's wild. I mean, wait. So you mentioned something about like you can rent a big sister,
Yeah,
and
if
she
you're in
wingmans you, or what does she do? Like, does she help you get
actually,
women?
it's parents that will hire somebody to come in and knock on the door for their son or for their relative to take them out, go to a park, go to a coffee shop, have a conversation. And so they're rented by an hour or 2 hour sessions. And there's a thriving business for women to help young men with their social skills.
No fucking way. That's crazy. So you can literally hire someone just to talk to you in Japan.
Oh,
Is
well,
that like,
if you want to go there, then you're actually into a whole new other multi-billion-dollar business. And the whole business is called Mizu Shobai, which is the water business. And so you're talking about going to karaoke, you're going to these whiskey bars, and men will
yeah?
pay anywhere from 50 to 100 to $500 for the experience of sitting and talking to somebody, drinking. And that's a multi-billion-dollar business.
Oh, that sucks though. Like, imagine paying for that's like I don't know. I don't want to say the word, but that's kind of weird though. Like you're paying somebody to sit there and talk to you. isn't it different from actually talking to someone who's genuinely there to have a conversation with you, like a friend? Isn't there like a fine line between them, or is there no difference? I mean, I don't know if you know, but you might know a few people who have done this.
Oh,
But
actually,
like,
no, it's so common in the society. It's not looked
really?
down upon. In fact, I actually have a number of friends who met their wives through that experience. So
No
many
way.
young women who are students, that's their part-time job, is to talk to men. So this is before, it's not about prostitution or sex or even sugar daddies. It's really about a industry that there's very little time to have the dating ritual. So men will go to these bars. There's even the bars where women go to talk to young men. So you, being a good-looking young guy, could be a host. And so a woman who might be a very successful woman could come to the bar, buy a bottle to talk to a young man like you, and you will be, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, you're so wonderful. And that is a business called Mizu Shobai, the water business, that is a multi-billion-dollar business in Japan.
I'm in the wrong place. I need to go to Japan. Their mood is
Actually,
different down there.
when I was there, this is over 30 years ago, one of my friends
Yeah.
who was from Vancouver, a very good looking guy, he actually looked very much like Keanu Reeves. He was very
Oh,
active in that business, and he spoke a little bit enough Japanese that whenever women or people talked to him, they thought he was extremely cute, and he was good looking, and he was he was also part of the Canadian track team for a little while. And so he did
hmm.
very well because at that time he was getting probably between 50 and 80 bucks an hour to talk to people.
50 and 80 bucks an hour to talk to people. There you go, guys. You guys are wasting your time talking to people for free when you can go out there and get paid in Japan to talk to people. That's
Well,
crazy.
well, but again, you look at dating sites, you look at the different types of dating business. You talk like I don't know if they
Yeah.
exist very around very much, but there's those $1.99 a minute, $2.99 a minute. Have some girl tell you how beautiful you are, and all of a sudden
Yeah,
your
yeah,
credit card says $1,000, and that again is
yeah.
an industry that is again the same guy who was the male host. He was part of a business that was getting people to call in and be charged on their credit card for girls to talk to them.
Yeah, even there's like dating apps too, like Tinder or Bumble, where you could, you have to pay like a monthly subscription to get likes or matches with women or men, right? Depending on who you are or what you're into. And it's like that's crazy. Like just to meet people, you have to pay, or even through Instagram, where you're direct messaging people. Because I know it's a big thing. That's what a lot of teenagers do actually, and how a lot of teenagers meet is through Instagram. They actually just direct message the person and just wait for a reply. So usually it'd be the men, like the male, messaging the female directly and trying to get into a way where they could stand out and get that reply, right? So it's usually like a hate text, which doesn't work anymore, right? I think one thing that people really lack and that women really like is the confidence to be able to approach them, right? Because I see a lot more success in terms of approaching somebody than trying to message them online. What would you say about that?
Well,
Because I know you're old school. You're the guy who goes up to people.
actually,
That's probably what you did
it's
back
funny because on the one hand, you're right. I am old school because I'm a boomer. Yet I've
then.
also been very curious about the dating rituals. I've also studied. I've
Yeah.
also worked with dating agencies. I've coached people
Hmm.
in developing dating skills and confidence and self-esteem. I've also read a book that is the number one playbook for dating, particularly for guys to learn the skills to pick up women. It's called The Game by Neil Strauss. And again,
Yeah,
ladies
yeah.
or gentlemen, check it out because it teaches you the strategies to go in and demystify dating. And so it's not a hard skill to develop to meet and PUA, pick up artists. It's just the thing about it. If you do either YouTube and check it out, it becomes dark very fast. Meaning, you get addicted to a behavior, you get addicted to a transaction, you get addicted to something that you think is supposed to be love and makes you feel great. Yet it fuels your ego and it fuels fear and it fuels doubt. And so it can be very dark very fast. And that's one of the things when you go and you do a little research, if you choose to, the guys who were the superstars in picking up women ended up, most of them, having a pretty severe bout of mental illness.
So is there like a cap? Like, let's say you're the person who wants to go pick up women to find a girlfriend or something, right? Like that's your main goal in this situation. Is there like a cap to how many women I should approach? Like I shouldn't go over like 10, 50, 20. Like there's a cap to it before I like, get addicted or whatever.
Well,
Or
no,
can you get even addicted by one?
well, again, different strokes for different folks, right? So it's
True.
not one size fits all here. Can you get
Yeah.
addicted to one? Well, guess what? You can get addicted to porn. You can get addicted to sex. You get addicted to one girl and you want her all the time. So addictions are one of those things that it affects different people in different ways. When I was in the real big dating game field, I used to have friends that they would easily go out and hit on 10 girls a night. And if they were a 10% hitter, it means they would get one girl a night. If they were a 30% hitter, they'd get three girls a night. And similarly, girls get
Different gravy.
addicted to that also because the whole
Really?
industry around girls picking up guys, well, guess what? There are girls that will be with three, four, five, seven guys in a night. This is an industry.
Hmm.
This is a business for many people.
Wow. Do you have any like places where you went to where you saw more success in terms of you picking up girls when you approached them in the past, or
Well, of course, there was
like,
like, again, that's the thing. I when I was in my 20s, I was in Japan. And so
yeah,
the thing about foreigners in Japan is that by speaking English, it was a novelty. So you had this celebrity aura that allowed you some of the, again, there was a lot of disgusting behavior. There was a lot of very rude
yeah,
behavior. Yet I did know and was part of a ecosystem that has many similarities to what we've seen Epstein and what we've seen with some of the darkness of peddling influence and power and Hollywood and that addiction. If you want to talk about and have a discussion, it's relevant when a man looks at a woman as a sex object, and it's just a transaction.
oh yeah, that happens. That
And you
happens.
can flip it when a woman does that to a man. So there's a whole environment that this is very, very common. And so you can go into the porn industry. Well, think about those porn stars. All they're doing is banging all day long and they're taking drugs to do that and it's being videoed and so it's something you could take away the curtain and have a really open conversation. Yet at the end of the day, there's an emptiness to it because it's in for many people, it's not what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, yeah. So would you say like for somebody, let's say, who's trying to look for that special someone in their life, should they approach them? Should they find them online? Like, what
Well,
would you say is the best way to go
there,
about approaching someone?
these days with COVID, well, you could easily go and meet 10 women tonight if you wanted to. There are apps, there are approaches, and it's funny because when I was your age, uh,
Yeah.
going out in a night and striking out 10 times a night was a strategy. And so if you're willing to strike out 10 times in a night, it means that you're getting a lot of practice. You can hone
Oh,
your skills.
that takes courage.
Exactly. Yet that was part of getting a skill development. These days, with
Yeah.
getting shot down 10 times online, it still takes an action activity. Yet there are now apps that can make it a lot easier. And there's a lot of online dating right now. And so I have friends right now in my age group who are still meeting on Tinder and they're actually developing relationships. And so there is a loneliness that these apps, these processes actually can assist in bridging the gap. You at your age right now, uh, again, for you to have your marriage partner in your mind right now, whether that happens once a month or once every 6 months or once a week, who knows?
You know the whole you bringing up this topic of like marriage and stuff. You know that number is actually increasing. Like the marriage number before used to be like I think 25 or something back in the day, like 30, 40 years ago, and now it's up to like 31. I think I saw the statistics the other day. I was like, wow. I think people are being a lot more career driven these days. Like, do you see that happening actually? Like the age just keeps increasing, or do you see like a cap to the age, like
Well,
around
there's a
35?
global phenomena. So
Yeah.
if you go to India, there's still probably many girls are getting married in their teens.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Professional
for
women
sure.
are getting married usually in their late 20s. Guys are
Yeah.
getting married in their mid 30s. So there is that trend for sure. There's a trend to experiment more. And so that's going to go against perhaps your norms of your parents and the norms of their parents. And that is definitely happening. There's many people in the 20s right now, they're going to live together first, despite the parents not necessarily agreeing. They don't
Yeah.
necessarily want to go through a divorce, or they're going to be very easy to go through a divorce. So these are the types of things that are being taught. In fact, one of my dear friends in Australia is coming out with a book with his daughter, and they're talking about picking your partner so you don't have to go through divorce. And that will probably be a bestseller in
Hmm.
Australia in the next probably 6 months.
Yeah, because I think that's a really big like problem, I'd say, in marriages these days. People are marrying and divorcing like crazy. Those numbers are increasing a lot too, and
Uh,
the age numbers as well, like
the
the average
numbers
age
of
of a male
divorce,
and a female.
yes, the ages of dating and getting married are higher. The divorce rates are higher. And so these are trends that definitely you can find statistics to verify it. And so for you, though, to look for ways to approach women, whether you're approaching with a mask on or on a video camera, it's not hard. I don't think it is hard at all. It just requires some flexibility, adaptability, and curiosity and innovation.
I think it requires mental toughness as well, because when you're getting rejected, right, which is it happens to everyone. You get rejected by at least, you know, 5, 10 females, depending on how many people you approach. Some nights you may even get rejected by everyone. You have to be able to overcome those rejections. It works like sales, right? When you get rejected by that prospect, you have to be able to go to the next prospect fully fresh with a new mental state, with no recollection of that past failure that you just experienced, right? And that's what a lot of men actually fail to be able to go through, because it hurts their ego or their confidence that much, and they're just not as good as at communicating or expressing themselves in these sorts of new situations, right? That's
It's
why there's so many people out there, Dave, that have courses on how to go up to women.
They're
People are
absolutely
making millions of dollars. I've seen like people making 10K a month. That's
correct.
crazy, no?
Oh no, we're talking 10K, 100K, a million a month.
Hmm.
There's definitely some guys who have really packaged it in a way that builds up the confidence, the strategies, the techniques. There's actually a movie on it too, right? With our good friend, the pickup artist, and it there is a relationship coaching component to it that can serve to
Yeah.
help people break through. There's issues in your age group, the 20s, yet there's also issues right
Yeah.
now for 50-year-olds and 70-year-olds who are interested in maybe having a partner. And so it's going to be it is a business, it's an industry, it's going to continue to grow, and it might be a field you get into. You never know.
Yeah, they're literally like teaching people how to like go up. I don't understand how you teach someone how to go up to women. That's like trying to read a book to learn how to drive. No, like the only way you can learn how to go up to somebody is if you experience it yourself and go and say hello firsthand.
See,
Would you agree? Or
for you, there's a certain approach because again, you have a certain approach and a certain tendency. What about somebody
yeah.
who's really introverted? What if
Okay.
somebody
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
very short? What if somebody's very tall? What if somebody's very large? So they all will have their own formula that they've got to tailor to practice. And so there is an element of practice, there's an element of self confidence, self esteem. That isn't necessarily externally. They got to work on the inner game before they can go and play the outer game. And so,
Huh.
yes, there is a recipe that can be mixed and applied, and different people will get different results. Yet, if you're committed to developing better interpersonal skills. It's funny because a lot of this, if you want to save instead of going and investing 5 grand on a course, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a
There you go.
great
There you go.
book. It's a great approach. In fact, if you decided to bring that into the 2021, it could be a course that you could deliver to help people meet people.
Yeah, yeah, because I actually know people who are terrified of doing things like that or going up to people like that. I have friends who are like that. Personally, for me, I'm not like that. I'd rather meet somebody in person than online because I just feel like the online thing is a little weird and a little unnatural, right? So I like the natural selection approach, but I can really understand someone who may be like introverted. There's a certain type of personality in an individual to be able to go up to somebody and say hi and just start a conversation from there, right? But I think one thing that really helped me and the viewers can take note of if you guys are introverted or kind of scared, because I personally was introverted before. I couldn't talk to anybody. I only had my own friends. I never really went outside the bubble back in the day. However, if you're trying to break that bubble, go to Toastmasters. That will help you. I'm telling you, like in any conversation, even if it's with a female, even if it's with another person, even if it's a random person at a bar that you want to become friends with, right? Toastmaster is going to help you overcome that because you're going to be speaking in front of 20, 10, 20, 30 people every single week. So you're really going to get yourself out there, or even networking. Another thing that helped me also was cold calling. So it's using the different careers to impact that one particular area in your life. So Toastmaster is not only for just speaking, it could be for your fluency in communication, your ability to go up to somebody randomly. So I think a good approach, instead of wasting $5,000 on a program to learn how to talk to somebody, is by converting yourself from an introvert to an extrovert itself by applying your own skills that you have right now. For me, I know one of my friends, right? He's terrified of like public speaking and everything, but I really like before this pandemic, I pushed him. I made him come with me to Toastmasters, and I remember it was that segment where you're supposed to do that 1 minute speech, right? I forgot what it was actually. It was like that you pick something out and you have to do a speech on it.
Icebreaker.
Icebreaker, there it is. Yeah, yeah. So it was something like that, right? And uh, I pushed him to give out that speech. I said, "You have to do it," and he bottled it. He absolutely obliterated the speech. He couldn't say a single word. Like he couldn't even put a sentence together. He was like, and then he lost his train of thought. And I told him, he's like, I fucked it up, Nisha. I don't know. I'm not made for this, right? I said, no, no. Like you did that one thing, right? Now you know what your level is, and the only like you're just gonna get better from there because now you've experienced being up on stage in front of people. The next time you do it, it's not gonna be as scary as the first time, right? So you'll be able to at least put a sentence together, not a whole paragraph, but at least a sentence. And then the next time you can put a paragraph together. So it's like that progression bar is there. So if somebody, even one of our listeners, are scared to go up to that girl or tell their crush that they like them, or even go up to a person that they want to be friends with, just just try it. If it fails, then you've done it, you've experienced it. The next time you won't be as scared doing it. But I would say for me personally, every time I'm about to give a speech, Dave, every time I'm about to give a speech or go up to somebody or approach some whoever, girl, friend, whatever, doesn't matter, I always have that little pit in my stomach. Do you think that pit ever goes away, like that little sort of butterfly feeling, or just a sort of thought like what if it messes up? Does that feeling ever go away?
It hasn't for me.
Oh yeah. Do
So
you think like for anybody, does it ever go away? Do people is nerves an inevitable thing that you can't get rid of?
no, I
Because
think
I know for me it hasn't gone away.
I'm not wanting it to go away. It
Hmm.
For me, I define it as I care. And so by caring, I get a little nervous. I call it nervous energy. It's life force. So I guess it will go away when you're not moving.
Yeah.
And so I look
I
at
mean,
it as a really
yeah.
good thing. And yes, I've been incredibly nervous at times and frightened and when spoke in front of thousands of people, I could feel the body move. But then you got to move the body. You got to You got to tap into the flow. And so if you watch rock musicians and they're jumping up and down, what they're doing is they're harnessing that energy. They're using that life force. They're focusing on doing the best they can do. They're not focused on their hair being out of place. And so that's the beauty when you're looking to give service and you're delivering a performance and you're got the game on the line. Give me the ball. That's a vibe that is a major life force. And so if people are listening today and they're saying that, wow, because you got to think if that's the life force, that this girl might be my future partner, I got to breathe it in. I got to feel the life force and I'm going to go talk to her. Now, if you jump on, like you're not going to come across as too sophisticated, yet if you bring it in, you breathe and you, hi, how are you? And you smile and you got excitement and enthusiasm and you're not going to be too excited, yet you have a vibration that you're present, you're alert, you're interested, you're curious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have actually have a story for that. That whole like, energy thing. Because I think energy is a huge component to approaching people, right? So I was actually with my friends, right? We were at a restaurant a couple months back. It was actually during this pandemic, right? We were eating out. It was after the lockdown, everything was alleviated. I think it was around August or something, right? Because it was in the summer, we were all free, so we all just went out to eat. It was just three of us, right? At that point, you were able to go and have gatherings, 10 people maximum, whatever, right? So don't don't put anything in the comments where you're saying, you went against the whole COVID-19 thing, whatever, right? But yeah, so we were there, right? And
Or go ahead and
I
write a
look.
comment because we really want your comment.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You know what? Listen to Dave. Yeah, if you want to bash me for it, go ahead. Anyways, so yeah, we were actually, so we were all sitting there, right? And I looked over and I saw this girl, right? And she caught my eye. She caught my attention. She was way out of my league at this point. I knew it for a fact, right? So I told my friend that I'm gonna approach this person after we're done our meal, right? And so I'm getting the butterflies in my stomach like I always do, which I hate in the moment, but after, when you actually go follow through with the action, feels a lot better, right? It makes you feel fulfilled or whatever. You feel a little happy, excited about yourself. So I told my friends to just keep walking, right? As we're leaving, I'm just like, just leave, right? Just wait for me upstairs or in the car or something. I'll be out there, right? And so what I did was I walked up to the table, I pulled a chair, and I just sat down and I just introduced myself, right? Classic tactic. And I just started talking to them, right? And so they're all talking to me. We're having a good time. We're just talking about random stuff like what school you go to, where do you work, blah blah blah, all the things that adults talk about, anything, right? Whatever, right? And then the moment it all went downhill was when they asked me what my age was, right? So at the time I was 20 years old. So I said, I'm 20, right? Because I'm not going to lie about my age. And they looked at me with shock, to like their jaw kind of dropped. So I was like, what did I do? Like, what just happened? Why is my age a big thing? So I asked them, I'm like, how old are you guys, right? And they said 26. So then my jaw dropped. I was like, oh, like I fucked this up. Like I just wasted 10 minutes of my life talking to someone who's 6 years older than me. This is not going to work, right? And so at that point, like after that whole conversation, it ended and I moved on, right? But that goes to show that like they were surprised of how young I was based on how I carried myself in that situation, because I brought that energy, I brought that confidence, and I went straight in for the kill, right? I pulled that chair, I sat down, I didn't even speak a word to them at this point, and then I started talking to them. So it was like a little situation where they were overcome by my confidence, but they were attracted to me because of that, right? And so that's how I won over that girl. But then I lost her, obviously, because of the age difference. I didn't even want to go for it at that point. But then,
Why?
like, we cut time.
Why?
It's too old, Dave. Like
Why? No,
20.
seriously, have you never heard of the word cougar?
Dave, that's too old. No, like for me,
No,
I'm 20 and
why?
she's 20. She's an
Why?
adult. Like,
Wouldn't it be awesome to date a girl who's 10 years older than you?
yeah, I mean that would be cool, but it's like, how would that work out? Because
As a
I don't know
date?
how that would
As
work
a
out. I
date?
don't know
As somebody to get to know, to go have some great times? You have youthful exuberance, you've got good looks, you've got wisdom. If you meet a 30-year-old or a 35-year-old or a 40-year-old woman, there's a win-win there if you choose to make it a win-win. Now, I'm going to blow your socks off
Yeah.
a little bit, all right? Because
Go
I
ahead.
had
Yeah.
a year that I decided to do some dating. And in that year,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
dated, and I set a record amongst my friends. I dated all the way between the ages of 19 and 69.
Whoa.
And guess what? The
Holy shit.
69-year-old lady I dated, it was a phenomenal date. She loved to
No
dance,
way.
and that's when I was learning salsa dancing. And so for about 4 months, we were dancing, and she felt young and vitality, and she had a great time because she had a fantastic dance partner. Me, I didn't look at her as being so old, and she was over 20 years older than me. It was something that was
Yeah.
very sensual. It was very, and then all the way from 19, and actually the 19-year-old dating was not that much fun for me because I was, again, in a boomer. And so the idea of dating is not necessarily what you think it is. And the idea of you being engaged and having relations, it's like business in many ways, that you're doing interaction, relationship management. You're developing your your life experiences. So for you to be thinking that you can only date a girl between 18 and 22, that's huge stress. You being open to the world, that you're attractive to, yes, you're attractive to a 70-year-old business partner.
I did not even think of it like that. And you were bang on with the whole 18 to 22 idea. Because I've dated older girls, right? That's not the problem. But they're
Well,
always like
no,
1 or 2 years old, like
issue in
barely,
your
you know?
head, the issue in your head is that you're thinking you're only of value to a certain type of person. You could have wonderful dates and experiences and relationships with a wider spectrum of people than what you came into this conversation with.
No way. I didn't even think about it like that because as soon as that person said that to me, I was sort of closed-minded about it and I just left. Like I didn't make any like call to action,
So
nothing. Like ask for no number.
that's the biggest shift for today
Wow.
for people, is that, again,
Jeez.
when you talk to people who really do have an awareness that age is not as important as what you think, then you'll let go of perhaps ageism. And ageism is
Yeah.
something that is prevalent in our society. Yet, in many ways, our friendship wouldn't have developed because, in your mind, you say, "Why would this old guy want to have conversations with me?" And similarly, people ask me,
That's a
why you even
good
want to
point.
have, like, I have had people say, "Why are you even spending time talking to Anish?" And I go, because it's insightful to get the eyes of a 20-year-old these days.
Hmm.
I've got a 20-year-old son. On one way, we're looked at, and my friends who are at my similar age, they often will say to me, 20-year-olds just look at us and look at us as being old. And it's not wrong. We are old, yet can we also have young thoughts and young experiences?
Hmm.
Well, we can.
I'd say you're pretty much like you pass as the 20-year-old. I can pass
No,
you as a
actually,
20-year-old.
I'm actually happy to get referred to sometimes as somebody in their 40s.
Yeah.
And again, I find it funny, and I really have a good dance with my age, mainly because that year that I chose, I was going to date across the spectrum. And when I broke my barrier of actually dating somebody who was over 65, that was very cool for me.
That's crazy. I never even thought about like, dating someone that old. That would because what I would see it as is like it's just a little, I don't know. I think this is just a mental barrier that was instilled into me, but it just seems a little weird to me that like, you're dating somebody that old or that the person that age level is dating somebody as young as you, right? It's kind of crazy. Like but I can see how it is because obviously there's a famous relationship, Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas, 10-year age gap. Priyanka Chopra is obviously
Sure.
older, and I guess they're doing really well. But I don't know. Maybe I do have to work on myself in terms of being a little bit more open. I think you're right about that, Dave. Because maybe, yeah, now you're making me feel like I bottled that situation
No, you
completely.
learned from that
Uh,
experience. So it's not about
oh
looking at a
yeah.
past experience and being bad. No, it's about looking at a past experience and if you're in that situation in the future, in what way would you tweak it? As a coach for relationships, when they ask you how old you are, you often will twist it around and ask them to guess. And when they guess,
Oh, I
that's
thought about that. Yeah.
engaging the energy because you get her to guess and her to guess and him to guess, and then you let them guess and then you surprise them because they're probably going to get guess 25, 28, and you say wow.
Closer
and
to
then
their age.
and then it's your choice whether you want to tell a little fib or not.
Oh, you know what? Like age has always been such a big barrier because I know that there's a lot of girls too that only want to date guys that are either their age or older too.
Well,
So
again,
there's a
that's
lot of closed-mindedness there too,
well, no,
right?
that's like that's sugar daddy-ish, like the whole sugar daddy, sugar baby. We could, since you wanted to talk about artificial intelligence and marrying uh, blow up dolls and stuff like that. Yes,
Oh
the
my
dating
God.
industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Loneliness is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So maybe we're from this conversation, one of our listeners might actually have a dating agency. They'd like us to maybe do a skit or a routine with them because there is a demand for the ability to hold a conversation about this topic.
The dating industry, right? With do you think that it's going to be like mainstream to marry a robot as much as it is to like human to human? Do you think that's ever going to happen? Like there's going to be a time where we're genuinely as people accepting like you're going to your cousin's marriage and he's marrying a robot female.
Well,
What are
are
your
you
thoughts?
are you going to get your vaccine in the next little while? Are you going to get your chip installed in the next 5 years? Are you going to have your car drive you around? Are you going to so read 1984? Read these things that the world evolves, and there will be
Yeah.
the first date, the first marriage, the first experience, and Japan will be at the leading edge of creating robots that have incredible lines and touch and shape and yes, there will be more to see, more to experience. And if you're visiting Japan and there's a center where you can go in and they got a special on that for $50 you can go
Oh
and have a
my
meal and be served by a robot. Hey, you might be doing that in 5 years.
That's a show, with like robot porn. That'd be next level. That would actually be crazy. That would break the internet. But on the other hand, yeah, I think we've had a pretty cool session today, Dave. We talked about a lot of different things. So, men, if any of you are watching and you guys are pussies, just get out there and talk to that girl that you want to talk to. If you go to a bar or like a club or a restaurant, listen to mine and Dave's advice. My advice would be just go up to them and say hello. Dave's advice would be to be open minded and don't give a shit about how old they are and experiment with different ages. Like you never know, right? That's something that I learned as well myself, being somebody who is, I'd say, fairly close minded in terms of who I approach and stuff. But I guess now I'll challenge myself to be more open, Dave.
My
Thanks to
approach,
you.
my favorite approach to share, because it's not so much telling you about, is I love to play the wingman approach. Okay.
Mm,
So if I was out with you and you saw somebody, it would be no problem for me to go talk to them for you. Now, what happens in
mm.
that situation, it doubles the chance that one of us will get lucky.
Does it? Because I feel like no, 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 no. Like I like that you brought up this whole wingman thing, right? Um, does it actually work though? Because
Oh,
don't
I
don't they
actually,
think that
I
you're very like unconfident or like like let's say I'm going up for one of my friends, wouldn't they think my friend is a little like less confident or something?
that's why is it works so effectively is because in some ways it gives the girl a choice. And if she is visually attracted to your friend, his shyness can be very attractive to her. Yet
Oh
it
yeah, I
comes
see how
down
it is.
into what she's attractive. If she's attractive to a guy who takes action, then you might be the recipient of her action. So, as a team approach, it's
That
something
that's
that
that's good.
I have enjoyed a lot of fruits. And in fact, in Japan, I had a bit of a great reputation as being a great wingman because I spoke Japanese and English. So if any of my friends from abroad came in, didn't speak Japanese, well, I would build them up. I was the master at edifying my friends who would often get dates with girls they couldn't speak Japanese, and the girls couldn't speak English, yet they would learn and explore what's called teiburi, speaking with their hands, meiburi, speaking with your eyes, and that could lead to wonderful interactions.
Well, on that note, I love that sort of message, Dave. Make sure everyone, you guys hit the subscribe button down below, leave a comment, and a like on the video for the YouTube algorithm. Smash that like button if you like the video, and make sure you check out our videos. We post every single Thursday and every single day, like, daily clips about, banter that we have back and forth about different topics. If you guys have any suggestions for any future talks that you guys want us to talk about, make sure you leave it in the comment down below as well. With that, take care, everyone. Dave, sign off.
Have a great 2021 from the boomer and the hustler and the boomer. Make your miracles a reality.